Welcome to the AmRisc Podcast. Please join us as we go beyond underwriting to learn more about the human side of insurance. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the AmRisc Podcast. This is episode 14, which is the second installment of our My AmRisc story. Today in the studio, I have Jerrod Fruge and Charles Allen, and I'm sitting here with Christian Medina as well.
What's up, y'all?
Do you guys want to tell me a little bit about yourselves? We can start with Charles.
Let's see. Charles Allen, born and raised in Houston, Texas. Went to North Shore High School, which we are now a football powerhouse. We were not that when I was in school.
Yeah.
Also, undergrad, went to Prairie View A&M University, degree in chemical engineering. I got my MBA from Rice University, and I've been at AmRisc for 12 years now.
Wow.
So,
What about you, Jerrod?
Hey, thanks guys for having us here.
Man.
I'm Jerrod Fruge. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm the
Red
resident
Stick.
LSU guy.
Yeah.
Went to LSU, studied chemical engineering, worked out of the state until I transferred over to Houston, and worked at FM Global first job, and happened to work with Charles Allen for several years over there.
Yep.
Dude, full
Before he
circle.
left. Yeah. Yeah, we're back again.
So when did you guys start at AmRisc, and how did you guys get here?
Well, I first heard about AmRisc in a roundabout way, kind of through Charles, actually.
Yeah.
This is back when I was working with FM Global. Charles had left some time back, so I started to look him up to see where he was at, and he wasn't even at that company anymore.
Mm.
He was at this company called AmRisc. So I was like, man, if he left this to go to AmRisc, I kind of want to get interested in that.
That's crazy. That's so funny.
Going backwards, how did you find out about AmRisc, Charles?
Yeah, so I found out AmRisc. Eric Powell reached out to me and Marcus literally around the same time. And I left AmRisc, not AmRisc, I left FM and I went to a different company. I was there for a little while and I was looking for a new job. And lo and behold, Eric Powell reached out to me, and Eric Powell remembered me and Marcus from our FM days. And they were looking for a underwriter to go on the tech team. And they interviewed me and Marcus, and they liked both of us, and they brought us both on. So Marcus went to the tech team, and then I went to general property, and I was essentially working under Eric. So,
Nice.
But yeah, no, it was weird because, Eric, kind of reached out and was like, hey, you ever considered underwriting? I'm like, no, but tell me about it, right?
What is that?
And so, but yeah, no, that was kind of my first kind of introduction to AmRisc, and just very thankful that all that happened.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
That's pretty interesting for me to find out.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that you had interviewed at the same time as Marcus, because I spoke to Eric around the same time as that, and let him know that I was also interested in AmRisc. So I was interested, and he got me an interview, and I interviewed around the same time as Marcus and apparently Charles.
Yeah.
Difference is they liked Marcus and Charles, and they gave them all job offers, but I didn't get one. No, I think what happened really was that Marcus got the spot at Tech, and so they filled that position.
Yeah.
You got to admit, they kind of made a good choice.
Yeah.
Marcus Kelly's a pretty good dude. I can't blame him there.
Yeah.
But it took me.
You found your way here.
Found my way here. About a year later.
Oh, so you didn't get it right away?
I didn't get it right away.
Yeah.
No, it was over a year later. I decided I was going to move on from FM Global. I was ready to do something different besides loss control engineering. So I called up AmRisc and I said, hey, and I totally bluffed my way in. I was like, hey, look, I got this other offer. I didn't have another offer. I said, I got this other offer. I'm making a career change. I just want to let y'all know that you were my first choice. This is where I want to be. I'm hoping there's still an opportunity. So I got another job interview. Didn't have to go up against Charles and Marcus this time. And that's how I landed here.
Dude, the man played his bluff well. Dude, and I know because I've played poker with this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun
Was
time.
that work event?
Yeah,
You guys were
some charity event, right?
Buffalo Bayou Brewery. We did
Yeah.
a charity event, and I came in third place, and Christian came in first place.
Let's go, baby.
That was crazy. I was watching y'all go at it, and I was like,
I think it was the unlimited amount of beers that they were providing that just helped.
Usually
me.
helps my poker playing and bluffing.
Dude.
Nice.
No, that was a fun time though.
yeah. So you guys came from, obviously you have an engineering background. How did you guys find underwriting, like going into underwriting? Did you guys like it, or I'm guessing y'all liked it because y'all are still in it. Time out.
Yeah, no. I don't know if you want to go first, but yeah, no. I mean, it was underwriting is a different change, obviously, from engineering, but from our background and our experience, we use a lot of the tools that we learned from FM because, I mean, FM is an insurance company, right? So from construction, understanding risks, understanding hazards, understanding how you really kind of underwrite for cat exposed risk, understanding flood, all of those things kind of went into play that was put in our toolbox from our FM training and experience. So when you came here on the underwriting side, obviously it's a switch in how you apply those tools and things that you have in your toolbox. But no, it was a welcome change from, I would say, from the stuff that we were doing and just really kind of tweaking, or not necessarily tweaking, but really just kind of learning a new set of skills to implement for underwriting. So, but I love it, man. For me, it was like a perfect marriage.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, yeah, insurance definitely wasn't part of the plan for me. I went to school for engineering. I thought I was going to go into engineering because I like cars. And then it turns out I was better at chemistry, so I ended up in chemical engineering. But, I started off, I got my experience at LSU before I graduated by getting an internship at some paper mills. So I worked at Boise Cascade, DeRidder, Louisiana, and then I worked at Georgia Pacific near Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And if you ever worked at a paper mill, you ever drive by a paper mill, you know that it has a really strong smell. They're kind of stinky places. They're kind of dirty places. I mean, it's all dirt roads and they haul it in trees. Yeah. And, when they process this wood to make paper, it creates black liquor and that stuff has a smell.
Dude, that's crazy.
It gets in your cars, it gets in your clothes and your shoes. So I learned enough to know that I wanted to be an engineer, but not in the paper mill industry.
Not that engineer.
Well, fast forward to graduation when I'm doing job interviews. One of the companies that I interviewed was with FM Global. That's the first time I learned about this connection between insurance and engineering. And, I thought the interview went great. Apparently I wasn't up against Charles and Marcus this time. They were off at Prairie View getting interviewed over there. Yeah. So I got the job in Louisiana. And when they called me to give me the job offer, they offered me the job as their paper mill specialist.
Oh my!
So right back into paper mills I go.
What the heck, dude? Yeah. So you guys really didn't see yourself ending up in any of this, what you do today?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm in the same camp as him. Like, I thought that I was going to, get a degree. We both were chemical engineers. Got my degree in chemical engineering, and I thought I was going to work in a plant. My dad, worked and retired from the Exxon plant out in Baytown. So I thought that was going to be my life. I'm going to go work in the plant for like 30 plus years and then retire. And like, lo and behold, I discovered FM and I was like, oh, so I don't have to go to the same facility every day and do the same, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was exciting that one day I could see, a chemical plant. Another day I can see a plastic worker. Another day I can see, different things. So that intrigued me. So, but yeah, I was, like, if you would have asked me back in the day to go back in time and say, hey, you know what you're going to be doing 20 years from now? You're going to be underwriting. I'm like, what is that? I don't know what that is.
Would you call me?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the underwriter. What is that? Right? I always say all the time, like, if you're a kid, imagine being a kid and you're sitting in class and your teacher's like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you raise your hand. I want to be an underwriter.
And said nobody ever.
Like, nobody ever said that.
Yeah. Then you're like, teachers like calling your parents like something's wrong with your kid. Like, he wants to be an underwriter when he grows up. Like, what is this? But yeah, no, there's absolutely no way that I thought that I would be where I am now.
Well,
but I'm here.
If not for that, then what would your guys' dream job would have been if not for what you guys do now? If it could be anything.
Oh, Well, I did have this opportunity that I don't know if it was so much a dream job. It just would have been working in some pretty dream places. But before I transferred over to Houston, I worked for this guy, and Charles might remember him. He was a manager who went from the Houston office after it closed here. He went to the office in Puerto Rico to run the operations in all of the Caribbean and Central America.
That just sounds nice.
And he offered me a job down there working out of the San Juan office in Puerto Rico. So I think I passed on that one. That one didn't work out. There was just no way for me to get down there and, with family and wife and everybody in Louisiana. But if I would have, I could have worked in the Puerto Rico office servicing Central America, Dominican Republic, all those islands, Bahamas, all that would have been pretty nice. And then that guy went on to Los Angeles, and when he got over there, he offered me a job over there as well. So I could have followed him from Puerto Rico to L.A. to maybe even San Francisco, where he ended up and finally retired. So I don't know about
it's okay. You're
career-wise how that would have gone, but then those would have been some nice places.
You would have went to L.A. You would have went to Hollywood, man.
You would have went to Hollywood. With that flow that he's got on his head, with that hair?
Yeah.
That's Hollywood right there.
I mean, look at where we're in a studio right now in Tomball, Texas. This is pretty Hollywood right here.
You don't think Houston's dream city?
Yeah, it's not 100 degrees outside for the last month.
We'll ignore that. It's fine. Yeah. That's a good question. I would say I'm going to spin my more hypothetical dream. I'll say dream-ish.
Yeah.
In my mind, I would be this amazing guitarist and singer, and then I would be writing and creating music, right? And assuming that money is no object, right?
Yeah,
and then I'm good at the thing.
I mean, you're pretty much doing a little bit of that now, huh?
You play guitar and you sing well.
Aren't you playing a little bit at the church or something like that?
I've seen him play, and I've heard him sing.
There's levels to this, right?
Good.
There is my level, and then there's like the right level, which is like Tony. I haven't heard Will play, but Will
Sauber, the guitar too.
Those guys are like phenomenal. So there's levels to this, right? I am nowhere near that level.
I have a video somewhere on my phone. Me and Charles jamming at the Guitar Center, singing, playing guitar.
But I'm late to the party, right? So I didn't start playing as a kid. I just kind of picked it up, as
you also play the saxophone, don't you?
Ooh, that's a long ways away. I haven't touched.
Charles also play the saxophone.
I haven't touched saxophone probably since a few years out of high school. Yeah, that's dead.
I still pick mine up and play every now and then.
Oh, do you really?
Last time I picked it up and started going at it, and as soon as I got the first few notes at, my wife and my daughter were both, Stop! Go do that someplace else.
I'm gonna use a band nerd term right now. So your embouchure probably is not very strong right now for playing.
Oh, la-di-da.
Right? Because you haven't been playing a lot. Like all of these muscles that you use to play the horn is probably
a little
struggling.
I'm a little out of practice.
I played the cello growing up, so I still pick it up weekly to play it.
Weekly?
Yeah,
weekly.
Wow. It's fun.
All right.
It's just it's one of those things you want to stay
stay engaged.
Yeah, like, I want to teach my kids, when God gives me kids, I want to be able to teach them music. And
Hey, guys, I think we're about to start up the AmRisc band. I think that's what's happening here.
We got enough
That's
to
what's
do
happening
it.
here.
Yeah, I can play the viola. Do we need one?
There we go.
There
we
Trey
go.
plays
the
viola.
orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah,
full band.
We've got enough to do the AmRisc band, quite frankly.
I'm down for that.
Oh, we got singers too. Let me. I'll tell you offline. I'll tell you who the singers are.
My dream job, I've always wanted to be a UFC fighter or a professional fighter.
Oh,
look
That's
out!
my dream job.
Yeah.
My mom didn't like me coming home with black eyes and busted lips growing up, so. So like I said,
you never got the
cauliflower.
Yeah.
No, I didn't grapple. I didn't do a lot of like jiu-jitsu or stuff on like the mat.
Yeah,
it was just more like stand up, just like boxing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a transformer, which I don't know if that's going to be able to be possible, but we do have a lot of engineers here. So if you guys could start working on that,
and I'd like AI
to fulfill
now.
my dream. Yeah.
That's classic.
So what's one of your core memories here, like your canon event? Like when you think of AmRisc, that's what you think of, like the first thing.
Man, I want to say it's the Halloween. The Halloween events, the Halloween parties. The Halloween
we were talking about this earlier, and that's exactly what Christian said.
We were talking about this with some coworkers just a little while ago too, and it feels like oh yeah, we skipped the last one, right? We didn't do the last Halloween. Maybe we'll get back to it. No, the last Halloween that we did in this office was 2019.
2019 pre-COVID.
Wow.
Man.
2019.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years since we did that, and the office decorations that year, I think it was the best year
Insane.
ever. We had on the sixth floor. We had Chronos did Stranger Things.
Yes,
including the winter ball, the snowball. The snowball set up in the kitchen.
God. The fifth floor was Harry Potter, right?
No, fifth floor did the scary clowns, but they had a full haunted house.
That was down here on the fourth floor.
Fourth floor.
Yeah.
I take it back. Fourth floor.
Because fifth floor was Harry Potter.
Fifth floor was tech. So what was y'all's? Y'all had the
Which
cards,
year?
right? That was the year y'all had the cards.
Oh yeah, we did the cards of the
It's like-
game, the Cards of Humanity, was it?
Oh yeah, Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, is that what it is? Because I just remember. I
Yeah.
remember Angela Matthews' card. She had one that said, "I got 99 problems, but a blank ain't one."
Oh,
Right,
shit.
I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
And yours was "Ask me what I gave up for Lent."
Oh yeah.
That's classic.
And I saw a picture. Nick, his group did. They were hippies.
They were hippie.
Oh,
That's what I'm
hippie.
telling. Like people post COVID don't understand like how much fun it is to work here at AmRisc.
Yeah.
The things we did here, we would even go out to lunch. Remember, we'd rent out a little bit of Los Cucos.
Yep.
Yeah, the
How
big
much-
Halloween
big
lunches
Hall-
were
Man.
epic.
Big deal.
Yeah, we were looking at those
Fun.
pictures, and you mentioned the Harry Potter one. That was Chronos, I think, the year before,
was it before?
2018. They had the candles floating in the sky
That was
in the
good.
whole
Yeah.
office.
Yeah.
The team that decorated that floor just killed it. They had the candles. They had the train in there.
They had like, the tree and
Man,
everything. It
the
was
tree.
crazy, dude.
It was crazy. The decorations were awesome.
I'll
It'd be
find
so
some
hard to
pictures.
light those candles.
No, it was dope, dude.
No, they had the homemade wands. You just,
Oh, okay.
you just wave them.
Dang.
We need to bring those Halloween parties back.
Hopefully, the new office.
I don't know if we
Yeah.
can fit everyone in the new office anymore. So
Yeah, that's a
so
fair point. But
Laura's
maybe.
just gonna have to throw a party,
Yeah.
a Halloween party. Please,
You
Laura.
heard it here first. Yeah, that's right. Oh man.
Yeah, no, I would. Yeah, there are a lot of things that stand out, memories and everything, events, functions, parties, just the normal day-to-day interactions with your coworkers. But one thing I remember very vividly was my first day working at AmRisc. And I've never seen, and I never worked in an environment where so many people came up to you and said, "Oh, welcome aboard and you're going to love it here." Like I heard that statement so many times. "You're going to love it here. You're going to love it here." I'm like, what are these people on? Like I literally was like, these people brainwashed? What is wrong?
I ain't doing nothing here.
But they were so right. Like they were right. But it kind of stood out to me very vividly. And that was just my first day.
Yeah.
And folks were like, "You're going to love being here and working here. It's a great company.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to love the environment." And I was like, "Oh, okay, this is new." But they were absolutely right. And
They really are.
it kind of stands out.
That's so true.
So now, outside of your work lives, who are you guys really like? Being fathers, husbands, role models to your kids. How do you intertwine the two with your work lives, like being remote and all?
Well, just for me, it's having a lot of extracurricular activities, doing lots of other things at our house. That's sports. Ava, my daughter, she plays soccer. Luke is my son, and he plays baseball. And I still like to pretend that I can play baseball from time to time. So I pretend I can play baseball on the church softball
There you
league, and I pretend I can coach baseball on my son's baseball team.
Yeah.
So that's part of what I do for fun. Playing softball. I'm now though, on this church league. I'm now officially the oldest guy on the team. So, I'm that guy. I've always been a third baseman, and, I've played third base in softball every team I've been on until now. Yeah. They finally had to pull me off of third base and say, Jerrod, your arm's no good anymore, man.
Oh, no.
It's just not there, dude.
Second base arm.
So yeah, you get more of a second base arm. We're gonna put you over. This is the closest spot to first base on a softball field. So you're a second baseman now, which is fine. I'm fine with that.
How'd you take that?
Pretty badly. No, I'm still good. I'm still in the infield. So goal achieved. But we did have the playoffs not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, at a critical point in the game. Runners on base. This is the playoffs. So team that wins advances. I'm on deck getting ready to hit. And one of the young guys goes, Jerrod, man, pretend like it's 1985 again and you're in your prime. And I'm like, 1985? How old do you think I am? I was like 6 in 1985. This is my prime.
You're like, this is my prime.
Yeah, and we lost.
And we lost. Dang it.
But, we always lose.
But it wasn't your fault.
It's still fun.
Yeah, it's the first baseman's fault, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, same boat. Just, I think my life outside of AmRisc is just take care of my family, take care of my kids. I've got a little bit of a gap between my two kids.
A little bit.
They're like 14 years apart. My oldest is 15. My youngest is 1. My daughter is my oldest. She's my heart. She's on the spectrum. She has autism. So we deal with that. And
does she go to Atascocita?
She's about to go to Summer Creek.
Summer Creek.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
that's right.
But she's an amazing young girl, and she's very sweet, and I love her dearly. But yeah, no, that's my life. Me and the wifey, we sing in a choir at church, so we do that together, and so that's a thing for us that we're involved with. Been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just trying to live life, man. Just trying to take care of my family and do what needs to be done. But that's a lot of my life outside of the company is just spent, taking care and keeping them together. So
yeah. And I think, seeing you guys as not just like bosses here at the company, but as seeing you guys as actual fathers and role models to your kids and the things you do outside of work, it's like a true testament to like how you lead the team itself. You guys are father figures, and you guys are a figure that the teammates look up to, in a sense. Like, if I need something, I'll go to Jerrod. Cause fun fact, Jerrod's my team manager.
Yep.
Shout out, Chronos Builders for Tech. Let's go. Yeah, he's like the team dad, seriously.
Yeah.
He gathers us all together in meetings, and, he keeps it collective, and he keeps it real easy and simple.
Yeah.
And so translating that to your guys' at-home lives probably comes seamlessly, you know what I mean?
By the way, your performance reviews next week.
Ooh. Let's go. Yeah. You don't really think of it as like a father figure type environment when you're managing, but it's still it kind of naturally lends to that self, because as a parent or as a father, like, you want the best for your kids, right? If you have to tell them like, hey, this is not right, this is what I will need to teach you to make yourself better, that's what you do, right? If they do something well or something good, you want to tell them, hey, you're doing good, and then give them encouragement. Yeah. It all kind of like naturally, in my opinion, kind of lends itself to that type of, arrangement, but yeah, no, it's, we love doing what we do. Like, I'm probably speaking for Jerrod, but like, absolutely, we love doing what we do. We love seeing our people thrive. We love seeing our people grow. Like, we've been in this company now to the point where we've seen people start in like young, UAs, don't know anything about insurance, to now where they're either ascending to a high level UA or even an underwriter, and they're teaching the newbies. I'm like, oh, I remember when you were new. I remember when you were a little baby, and now you've grown. So like that's you love seeing that kind of progression.
Some of them have even launched a podcast.
Yeah.
Let's
That's
go.
crazy.
Is there another podcast out there that we don't know about?
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. So, well, with that being said, who is one person you guys would like to give a shout out to? Somebody in this company who's inspired you. It could be in this company. It could be out of this company. Something that gives you guys encouragement to who you are today.
Yeah, man. It's just in this company. It's hard to pick one. There's so many great people that work here and that I've worked for. You know, we've both known Marcus Kelly for a long time. He's just a great guy, great to work for. Angela Matthews is another one. She was actually one who trained me. She's one that taught me how to be an underwriter. And Joe Dyson was my first team manager, so he's probably my official underwriting mentor. But if I got to pick one, I'm gonna go with John Allen. Yeah. So recently in our Edge program, we had a presenter, and one of the ideas he gave to us was that he said, think about who your best boss was and why he was your best boss. And what you should do is reach out to him and tell him that, And unfortunately, I never got around to it. Sorry, John. So this is officially me saying, John, thank you for being the best boss that I ever had. John opened his arms, let me come on to Chronos and be a part of the team. He gave me my shot at being a team manager for Chronos and being part of that management team. And that was a big deal for me. It means a lot. And the way John manages people is, he gives you, or at least with me, the way he manages me is he gives me just enough rope to get myself in a lot of trouble. And then I pick up the phone and say, John, can you please come bail me out of this predicament? And he always does. He usually jumps in, fixes things, and then he's like, all right, off you go to get in trouble again. And that's what I do. And then I call John. But I just want to take a moment and say thanks to John. I really do enjoy working for the guy. And I was the brown nosing kind of obvious there? Wasn't too obvious.
No, not at all.
He's not your CEO.
We can cut the brown nosing part out, right?
Yeah.
We can edit that?
Yeah. No, it's stated. John Allen is definitely a super cool guy, man. Yeah. He cracks jokes, but he's super professional when he needs to be. He's really good at switching back and forth when he, can be personable with you and just comfortable versus okay, I need to be professional and do my job. He's great. So
yeah. What about you, Charles?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna go outside of AmRisc, and I'm gonna say. I'll say my mom. She's been a big inspiration to me. My mom was from a small town in Mississippi called Natchez, Mississippi. And Mississippi is a special place, especially back in the day. And she been through some things, seen some things, involved with, school integrations and all of those things, and having to have, National Guard type protection to keep her safe type stuff. And to kind of go through what she went through in her life to kind of get to where she got to, getting her education, being, vice president at, Chase Bank, all of those things kind of inspired me to anything's possible. Right. So, for me, she's been a very big inspiration in my life. So that's kind of, I would say, a key figure for me. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
That's where it starts, man. It starts at home like that.
Yeah.
That's where, as kids, we're like sponges. We take in what we see, what we hear. And those are the first person who, once you take your first breath of life, that you're closest to.
Oh, yeah.
You learn everything from my mom. You guys know my mom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Carrie. Yeah, shout out to you, Carrie. I love you. She's amazing. She's an amazing woman. She's tough around the edges, but she is soft and warm. Yeah. And she'll give you the hardest love you need. And dude, that's amazing.
So do you guys have any advice to someone who might one day want to be on the path that you're currently walking on? Just maybe somebody who's just graduating from college, wants to get a job in insurance, or maybe somebody who's already been in insurance and they're looking for a new company to come to, like AmRisc.
Anytime the advice question comes up for for this company and for this job, I always go back to the same thing. We hear it over and over again. We hear it from Brian Reed and John Horton and Stephen T-Shirt, Eric Powell. But one of the best advice I could give is that this is a people business.
Yep.
We work in a people business. We all like to use email because it's a good tool and it's easy and efficient. But you really do in this business have to maintain those professional relationships with both within AmRisc and with the producers that we work with. And, a big part of that is picking up the phone, having an actual conversation with a real person. And if you can, get out and see people, take them out to lunch, meet them for lunch. I believe Charles did that with a broker today. That's an important part of the business relationship process. Go to their office, go to their conference room, just have some face-to-face time. And remember, like John Horton says, brokers are people too. Have those people, interactions, and remember that relationships take work, including your business relationships.
That's right.
Yeah. I would say, echo and double down on his points. I would say for me, right, I tried to spend some time talking to different folks, my peers, folks who've been around for a while. And this is when I was a young underwriter. And I was trying to kind of get some, information as to how they went about their business, what made them successful, and asking those questions, right? And most people at this company are very open and forthcoming and will answer those questions that you ask them. And I was very thankful and grateful for those people. But I would say it might be a little bit different now since we're more in a virtual world. But I think that you want to try to make time to try to reach out to different people, whether you do it via phone, email. Hey, I just asked some questions about, your journey within AmRisc and your segment within the company and what you do, or at, a company function, come out to those things and try to meet more people and get more exposure to different folks within the company. And just, kind of leveraging those relationships to eventually get to a point where there's if there's an opportunity that opens up, the opportunity opens up on a different team that you don't work on, and, you're dealing with a person that hasn't met you at all, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're doing, engaging, meeting people, trying to, expand your horizons as best you can, and then you're like, oh yeah, I met this person. They were, they reached out and they asked me questions about this, and I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of got a vibe from this person, how they are and how they operate. So, I would say that's a key thing that you want to try to do. And I know it's way more difficult in a virtual world. Mm-hmm. It's way that was one thing that was on my mind about maybe want to draw back from this environment that we live in now. Yeah. Obviously, it gives us a lot of flexibility. It gives us a lot of things that are good. But if you're a new employee that comes on and you haven't met everybody, you don't know the lay of the land and that sort of thing, it's maybe a little more difficult and challenging to engage and meet people, face to face or within the company. So.
Yeah, 100%.
It's definitely hard. Like starting after COVID, I didn't meet my first underwriter, which is Nick Brooks, for a couple months. We went to lunch, and I was like, oh, this is what you look like. I was putting a face with a name, and I met Liz Hayes too.
Yeah.
And then the only kind of experience I had meeting people on my team was through Zoom, for meetings or for work stuff, and it's kind of hard, to develop relationships because you don't know anybody. You guys were in the office every day.
Yep.
You guys were oh, hey, how are the kids doing? Don't they have soccer later or something?
Yeah.
But now it's oh, I forgot your name. I haven't seen you.
Right.
Now we live in a world where when AmRisc does get together, when we're all in one place, everyone walks around and goes, who is that person? Am I in the right place? None of these people look right.
I hired people that I hadn't met and I didn't know what they looked like. I said, you know what? If I saw you in the street, I would know who you are, and you work for me.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even be able to recognize you. Like
They're like, Charles, hey, it's me.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely a people business, and I know for sure AmRisc is going to keep growing.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to keep growing, and these values are still going to stick with us now and with the next people to come after us. So
Yep.
the one thing about, regardless of it being a virtual world, the business stays the same, and there's a way to do it, and there's one best way to do it, and that's, like you said, pick up the phone, call, go meet somebody, go talk to them, create that relationship, because the relationship is what keeps it, what stands, not the email. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So-
The only constant is change.
That's
We have to, we always have to be ready for what's going to be next. When we do this podcast in the next 10 years, it's going to look totally different then.
yeah. Can't wait for that. Well, you know what? Thank you guys for coming out. We really appreciate your guys' time, and your efforts are really helping us out here. And I'm glad this was a fun one. So
Yeah.
thanks
Enjoyed
for
it.
coming out.
Enjoyed it. Yeah. Thank you.
Nice
guys.
chat.
Thank you
Thanks,
for having
guys.
us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.